Thank you for registering, campers. Come sit by the fire and await your counselors, Michelle and Samantha. Welcome to Camp Fear.
Welcome to Camp Fear, where we talk about horror movies that are available for free on sites like Tubi, YouTube, Momitu, all of them. Today we are talking about a Nickelodeon SNCC special from the 90s called Crybaby Lane. It's available on YouTube because, and this is TikTok rumor, Crybaby Lane, when it aired, it was deemed too scary for Nickelodeon, so they pulled it. And then quite some time later, it was put back on air for like one night only. But apparently, I did a deep dive on it. That is not true. Nickelodeon just didn't want it on their catalog anymore, and so they wiped it out. So it definitely is not too scary, especially for adults.
Yeah.
And as always, there will be spoilers, so please watch it on YouTube and then join us after you're done.
A couple of brothers are told a ghost story about a farmer's Siamese twins, but during a seance, they mistakenly awake the evil twin and are forced to defend their community from being haunted.
So we start off that two boys are visiting Mr. Bennett at his funeral home, and Mr. Bennett tells them a story. It's a voiceover story about a farmer's wife who gave birth to conjoined twins, and the farmer hid them away because one was evil and one was good. They ended up both passing away because one died, and so naturally the other one's going to die as well.
Shared a liver.
The farmer separated the twins after they died and buried the good son in a proper grave and the bad son in a field next to Crybaby Lane. And then anyone who goes by Crybaby Lane can hear the cries of the child at night. So the boys ride their bikes home, and the youngest boy, Andrew, has a nightmare. Andrew tells his mom about Crybaby Lane, and the mom tells them not to see Mr. Bennett anymore, which I was kind of siding with the mom in this one. His older brother, Carl, totally bullies Andrew. He's mad at Andrew because they can no longer go to the funeral home to see Mr. Bennett. And Carl just randomly is obsessed with wrestling and the wrestler, The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew has one friend who seems significantly younger than him, and this kid is obsessed with Lord of the Rings. So maybe this is when the Lord of the Rings movie
It was
were
probably the animation, the animated
Oh, okay.
Lord of the Rings.
So Andrew and Carl go to a baby's grave, and they set up a speaker to play Halloween screams. They want to play a prank on three girls in their class. So the three girls meet up with Carl and Andrew in the graveyard at night to perform a seance. And Carl tells them the story of Crybaby Lane and says that they are on top of the good son's grave. So Carl plays the Halloween scream tape, and the girls freak out. So then the tape cuts to like some heavy metal music, and the girls figure out that it was just a prank. But after a few minutes, they actually hear baby cries from the graveyard, and they all run home. And while this is happening, a random dog that's like just there is possessed, like gets possessed. Like
you see the glowing eyes. I was like, huh.
So the next day, Mr. Bennett goes to the graveyard to look at a burial plot for like a customer, basically, but is distracted by a Walkman that he finds on the grave from the night before. The possessed dog shows up and chases Mr. Bennett. It's like a very Cujo-like scene.
Yeah.
The graveyard worker is milking his injuries that he gets from like fending the dog off for Mr. Bennett.
When the dog gets a hold of the graveyard attendant, and Mr. Bennett just runs the opposite direction.
Gives zero shit.
I was like, oh, so you're just going to leave him there. But he went to go to his car to then help him.
So Andrew wants to call one of the girls from the night before, but Carl is just being like the asshole big brother, making fun of him and like taking the phone from him. And like whatever trauma Carl is going through, he is definitely taking it out on Andrew.
Yes.
Using Andrew as his punching bag. So anyway, Mr. Bennett comes to the boys' house because he wants to talk to them, and the mom tells Mr. Bennett to leave, which again, I'm siding with the mom.
This is such an odd, like, showing up at the house, like, I need to talk to your kids. Like, for what? And he's like, well, I can't say.
I know, like, no, you're not. First of all,
No.
use the phone.
Right? At least you can mask your voice that way.
At dinner, Andrew is upset with himself because he's afraid of everything, but he blames his mom because she's so overprotective. And then Andrew and Carl sneak out of the house to go to the girls' house. A red truck is driving down the road, and the driver is listening to the radio. There's a story about teenage rebel girls in the area. So the truck is hit with a latte or a coffee cup or something, and it goes off the road. The driver gets out and sees a swarm of girls running through the woods, very weapon style. On the way to the girls' house, Carl dares Andrew to race the train that's going by. So Carl makes it across, but Andrew doesn't, and the train is still speeding by. So Carl and Andrew are like divided by the speeding train. Then Carl is teleported to the graveyard where the girls surround him, and then Carl sinks into a grave.
Yeah, you have like the glowing worms and then the voice like, hello, come join us.
So inside the grave that Carl was transported to, there's some hobbit-looking zombie leprechaun thing in there and tells Carl, you're mine. The train passes and Carl is waiting for Andrew. So somehow, like, maybe there was a commercial break in the original because now he's just back to where he was. He tells Andrew that Kathy isn't home, but he knows where she is, so they take off on their bikes. Then the mom realizes that the kids are gone and tells the dad they have to go look for them. But the dad is like, it's fine. Boys need to explore. It's only 11 p.m. at night. What could happen?
He must have missed the commercial that said it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Well, he shouldn't have because he's watching TV.
Yeah, true.
So then Carl leads Andrew to a barn and has Andrew get undressed. The girls then throw, it looked like lemons at him.
Yeah, lemons and rocks.
Yeah, lemons. So they're just pelting him with lemons and rocks while he's pretty much naked in the barn. And then Andrew goes and runs off. So Andrew runs naked through the town and finds a nearby house of men drinking on the porch. And this is when I was like, is this why Nickelodeon took it off air?
So he at least had his underwear on because, like, what is it? Yeah, he fell into the manure because his brother, like, pushed him or
right,
whatever. However, he ended up, like, dirty. And then his brother's like, well, take your clothes off. We'll find something else for you to wear. So at least he was in underwear, but embarrassing enough for a 12-year-old.
Oh, sure.
And then running around like, poor kid.
So he sees a house with men drinking on the porch. He steals some clothes that are hanging out to dry. And then we see that all the men on the porch are also possessed because their eyes are glowing. Back at the funeral home, calling hours for a separate funeral are wrapping up, and the family refuses to pay the bill due to the overcharges from Mr. Bennett. Andrew shows up and tells Mr. Bennett about the seance and that Carl is possessed. So Mr. Bennett tells Andrew the conjoined twins were put in the wrong grave, and their seance conjured up the evil twin instead of the good twin. Mr. Bennett also tells Andrew that he's the one who separated the bodies, and they need to find the good son at Crybaby Lane and put the bad son to rest to break the curse.
Yeah. And then there was something about the root, the soul root. Yeah. I don't know.
No.
Then there was the soul root because when Carl was when they were setting up stuff at the good son's grave, he moved that root out of the way, and then that's what caused the evil son to awaken because he's no longer tethered to his grave.
Okay, thank you. So Andrew's mom shows up and threatens to call the police on Mr. Bennett, but Mr. Bennett tells Andrew not to be alone with Carl. They go home, and possessed Carl apologizes to Andrew, but Andrew is hesitant to believe it. Mr. Bennett goes to Gary's trailer, which is the graveyard worker, and to ask him about bad luck as a superstition. And Gary tells him that touching gravestones or cutting too close to the tombstone can release a person's soul or spirit.
Oh, that's right, because they don't want to accidentally go over the soul root with the
weed whacker.
With anything.
He says that the weed will grow from the corpse, and if it's cut, then the soul will be released. Andrew's little friend who likes Lord of the Rings, he shows up at the funeral home and he beats up Mr. Bennett with some like Lord of the Rings lightsaber looking thing.
Remember those plastic ones that shoot out?
Yeah.
That are like, they're 3 different sizes, so they stop. That's what he's beating him with that.
And then he steals Mr. Bennett's ring that he's wearing.
His precious.
Oh, yes. I'm not a Lord of the Rings person, but yes, that makes sense. Okay. So while Andrew is taking a shower, possessed Carl comes in, but Andrew faked being in the shower. He's actually on the run to Mr. Bennett's house, and he finds Mr. Bennett is like knocked out. Mr. Bennett comes to and tells Andrew what happened, but Mr. Bennett asks if any grass was cut at the tombstone during the seance, and Andrew tells him yes. So Bennett explains that the bad son's soul was released and Andrew needs to cut the root from the corpse's heart. Bennett's 16-year-old nephew drives Andrew to Crybaby Lane and a police car rams them off the road. They conveniently crash into Crybaby Lane and they can hear the baby cry. Then Andrew, who is 12 years old, drives them into a cornfield where they can still hear the baby crying, and then a possessed farmer tries to plow them down with his tractor, and they barely get away. Then the girls from the seance, they show up because they're possessed, and they surround Andrew, and they want to play a game called Kiss or Chi-Chi.
Yeah, I was like, what's the Chi-Chi?
I don't know what the Chi-Chi is. So Andrew gets away, and he finds the good son's grave. He tries to pull up the root, but he is teleported to the bad son's grave where the leprechaun zombie kid is. He sinks into the ground, and the leprechaun zombie thing tries to possess Andrew, but it doesn't work. And Andrew cuts the weed from the skeleton's heart. So, like, the baby skeleton is there, but also the zombie leprechaun thing is there.
Eating worms.
The grave caves in and the town is free from the curse and no one remembers anything except for Andrew. And that's Crybaby Lane. What were your thoughts?
Very 90s. Oh my gosh. Did have a little bit of like a Goosebumps vibe to me. You know, it's because it's kids, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I just kind of associate those things together, especially like growing up in the era we did, wherein that was very... You know, all the Goosebumps and the kids' horror and stuff like that. I feel like we had a lot more entry horror growing up than they do now.
Yeah.
So I think more kids' horror is necessary, but that's a whole nother discussion. So Crybaby Lane I thought was all right. Some of the lore is a little inconsistent, I think. And watching it on YouTube being a re-upload, the quality, the video quality is really not great, but I can definitely forgive that considering how you have to watch it nowadays.
Yeah.
Definitely don't think it was too scary, but I also grew up with a lot of horror. So as a kid, that wouldn't have affected me. The nephew, Mr. Bennett's nephew, was really funny. He's like, I don't even have a driver's. That whole driving scene, like his responses got genuine laughs out of me. I thought he was kind of a little bright shining moment in that movie that I could like glom onto. I thought he was so funny and adorable and goofy. But other than that, I was kind of like, okay.
All right. I felt it was a very sloppy Are You Afraid of the Dark episode. There was a lot of sexism, transphobic-ism, a lot of toxic masculinity between the two boys, which that is very representative of the 90s because a lot of Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes have that toxic masculinity between the boys.
Men don't write scripts to talk to women and stuff like that. I was like, okay.
And then, I show my feelings through violence, you know.
Yeah, because that's
great. I disagree with you on the nephew completely. I thought he was such a unnecessary character. I get it, like if he was there for the laughs and the zings, but like his only purpose was really just to drive Andrew into to Crybaby Lane. But Andrew took the car anyway. So
yeah. No, you're 100% correct. Unnecessary character, but the moments he was there, I personally enjoyed. But yeah, no, you could have lifted him out of the whole movie and it wouldn't have changed anything.
So if you are curious to watch this just to see if it was really too scary for Nickelodeon to show it, it isn't. Not by a long shot. So in my opinion, you can definitely skip over this one unless you want the experience of it. So I give it 2 out of 5 toasty marshmallows.
Yeah, maybe a little nostalgia boost. Oh, I watched that on Snick with Sabrina the Teenage Witch hosting it, you know, and you want a little serotonin. That might be a fun watch. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm at a 2, 1.5, 2, but we'll bump it up to the 2. Not quite my speed, so.
Well, thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.